Alright, before we get started on NXT, I am going to briefly talk about Raw because I did watch it, but I just didn't review it. I don't normally review Raw, and I know most people say, dude, you should have reviewed Raw because, hey, this is the first Raw after WrestleMania. But due to the fact of how WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 were not great, there was a lot of problems in Night 1 and there was problems in Night 2. Flat out, that's the truth. It turned me off a bit. I'm making it very clear, it did turn me off. Even though both of them together gave us an average WrestleMania that had some nice moments in it and something memorable that anyone could like easily, it was average and it still pissed me off, particularly at the end of Night 2. But I did watch Raw. And I will tell you this, did they try to make it as exciting as possible? Yes, they tried very hard. One of the major problems I had with that Raw was the advertisements and the star power. In other words, the people in the stands who were sitting in the seats. Having to hear personalities, anyone who's a sports guy or girl or anything, it's tiring. They do this all the time, and I find it very tiring to keep hearing, well, here's this guy in UFC. Here's someone from Netflix, which they're going to keep doing because they are part of Netflix. And anything else feels very distracting. But overall, was the show good? Yes. Rusev showing up was alright. Seeing that Stephanie Vaquer did work with the world champion Io Sky was not bad. That was good. Becky Lynch turning heel, the thing that got me, I knew when they had this match, I'm going, this makes no sense if they win. If they win again, back the titles and become champions again, you must have Becky turn heel. And they won, and I thought, okay, she better turn heel here. If Becky doesn't turn heel, this made no sense whatsoever. Which, to be honest, it still doesn't make any sense. She could have turned heel when she came back at WrestleMania and attacked a Lyra Valkyria. She could have done that there. She just wanted to get the titles and then lose them. Excuse me. So she can turn heel here, which honestly feels very wasteful. Because you could have let Pam have that win. You could have had her literally, understand, this is me, making this quick as possible. In WrestleMania, you could have still had Pam there. You could have let them win. And you could have had Becky come out, cheer her, but then attack a Lyra Valkyria because she would rather be the one to win it. Instead of doing it with Pam. She could say on this Raw, I wanted it, and I told you I wanted to do it with you, but you had it with Pam. You could have done that. I just feel like that is like a waste of time for me personally. And the ending where my nose is itching. Paul Heyman guy is possibly going to now be Braun Breaker. I did say this, didn't I? I did say that Seth was going to be the leading of another group that would be something like the Bloodline. Just it wouldn't be blood. And Paul would be his wise man. Did not call it. I don't know about anyone else, but I did say it. So this is what we got in Raw, which was good. I'm not going to say it was spectacular, but it was good. Now, this show after Stand and Deliver. A lot of things were ended. A lot of things were started. And a lot of questions of how far they're going to go before this person leaves. Okay, Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Gigi and Tatum Paxley. They just won the titles back. I didn't expect them to lose here. But I did expect Tatum and Gigi to at least have a good showing. Now, mind you, look, I still love Gigi Dolan. Yes, she's a gorgeous woman. She did very well in Toxic Attraction. And when it came to the situation when she was working with, now seeing that you're going to have a rift between a Fallon Henley and a JC James now, that they're going to break them up, which is, it's overdue now. When it comes to Fatal Influence, it's time to break them up. So we'll get it in a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But seeing this situation where they use Fallon to face off against Thea Hale to do this, I won't tell you it was bad, because it wasn't. And then seeing that JC kicks her, she hits the steps, and then that's what caused her to lose. This is the catalyst for both of them to break up, and one of the two is going to be chosen by Jasmine Nix to stay with. Either it's going to be Fallon or it's going to be JC James. My guess, she'll stay with JC. And then they're going to deal with Fallon in another situation. That's what I think is going to happen. But I was not surprised to see the tag champs retained. They just now got a 4-title reign now. There's no way they're going to make them job. Moving on. The Heritage Cup, which was taken by Penn and Teller. I had forgotten to say this during the WrestleMania of Stand and Deliver. I forgot. Let's make it very clear. They're basically doing their own WrestleMania, even though they call it Stand and Deliver. We already know this, but I forgot to say this during the matches and during the segments. I totally forgot about saying what happened with Penn and Teller. The Heritage Cup was taken. Now he just got it back, and pretty much he was told, you're going to have a match. You got to apologize and say that magic is real, and you're going to get a match. Fine. Now, let's make this very clear. The setup for Ricky Saints against Lexis King, it was alright. I mean, did I like the banter between each other? Well, they know each other. They were in AEW. Remember, they were both fucking AEW. Before they went to WWE. Lexis was first and Ricky is second. But they got good banter between each other. There's no problem with it. Setting up that the Heritage Cup is going to be contested. I knew there was something screwy here. Particularly they were having an attitude, and you hear and see people trying to separate them. I'm feeling like, okay, this match, whoever it is going to face him might actually win the title. And the minute I heard Metaphor's music, I knew it wasn't going to be Metza, and it was not going to be the Meta Girls, because they're on their own. Metza is currently on Speed, so I knew it was Nolan Dar. And it was. Nolan. I'm going to be honest here. I've never hated him, but I never really liked him. When he was doing the Superstar sessions, I really wasn't interested in it. I felt he could talk. He wasn't that bad of a talker. But I just felt like his pretty much Miz TV just wasn't really that good. But when we see him in the ring, and here's the thing. I'm not against him winning it, because he's held it longer than anybody. The problem I have here is this: when it comes to him, they need to get rid of the let's make this very clear. They need to get rid of the cup. I know you're going to say, dude, you can't get rid of the cup. It has lineage from NXT UK, which doesn't exist right now. Understand, unless they finally have restarted it, which I understand they haven't yet, there's no point in keeping the Heritage Cup as a cup. Turn it into a title. Make a title for it, and then say to Nolan Dar, we are retiring the cup. We are now making it a physical title, not a cup anymore. That's what I feel like he deserves. And that will give them another tier for NXT, which I think they actually need because of what's going to happen now with the possible NXT Mexico coming online. Or is it going to still be AAA? I don't know. If you haven't seen my Gump Report, look at my Gump Report. It's before this video, and you will see what I was talking about when it comes to AAA and what might happen, particularly that they're going to have, really, a good chance that we'll have NXT Mexico. Just like NXT UK. They will rebrand AAA as Mexico, and they're going to need a third tier because we got the championship, we got the North American Championship. We should have a third title, and that should be the Heritage Cup Championship. Why not have a third title that will give people in the lower card something to work with? Then you got the mid card when it comes to North American, and then you got the main title. You got to give these people something to work with. because they're not going to do it with NXT Speed, because currently Soruka has that, along with the Women's North American Championship. I didn't realize that she participated on Speed, and now she has the North American title and the Speed title, which it doesn't really matter what sex it is. It doesn't really matter. But if the Speed Championship could be translated over to NXT, but now it's not going to. And I'll say this, when it came to Zarya, when they were having that little banter between Zarya, Soruka, and the tag champs, it is obvious they're going to have them do something. You're going to see the tag champs work with Soruka and Zarya, and there's going to be a point when Zarya is going to turn on Soruka. It looks like they're going to go there. It doesn't mean it's going to happen now, but it is obvious they're going to go there eventually. Unless Zarya is going to get a chance at the title, she loses to Soruka, and that will start the animosity between the two. That's what I think will probably happen. But that's just me. Okay, next. Devon Evans and Bourne from the No Quarter Catch crew versus Dark State. Now, did I care about this? No. Because, from what I understand, during WrestleMania weekend, you got Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights go over to GCW Bloodsport and actually participated in it. Now, I'm sure people are going to say, dude, you see? I know one of you who's talked about GCW. You see now WWE is now working with GCW. No. No, not really. Now, I'm not saying they didn't participate with it, yes. But are they working with them? No. No. They're doing exactly what I think they were going to do. And that's going to hurt the wrestling business. And what do I mean? Go look at my Gump report on how I feel about AAA and what it means. Because, I'll say briefly, by the WWE doing the reverse of what Vince did, by working with everybody, it's going to hurt the wrestling industry. Eventually, it might hurt it pretty badly. And I'm not going to explain it here, just look at it there. I'm sure I did explain it. If I didn't explain it, you could say it down below. But as far as I know, I did explain why AAA disappearing is going to hurt the wrestling business. Now, they did not win. It was Dark State. But what does this mean? Does this mean that you're going to have a question that if Bourne is going to stay with the No Quarter Cats crew? Or are they going to bring in Devon Evans to join the No Quarter Catch crew, and they may get rid of Bourne or just let him join to make it 4 people, well, 5 counting on Sinclair? Maybe. Let's move on. Let me give this to you in this respect before I talk about the final match. What did I feel about the Angelo family imploding? Not about Chase U, because I know someone can say, dude, Chase U is back. Yes, I don't know how. How is he back when supposedly was suspended? I don't know. I would have to check and find out why he managed to get Chase U up and running again. Maybe it's due to the fact he's happy again because he had 2 of his former students convince him to go back, or he found a way to get the school back. I don't know. But the D'Angelo family is one of the strongest stories they have. And this story has been going on for 3 years? When it comes to just Tony D becoming the Don, christened the Don, and Stacks by his side as his soldier until Crucifino and Rizzo comes in. And finally he makes him the underboss. This story has gone on for at least almost 3 years. 2 to 3 years. Easily. We see Crucifino in the desert with. And I'm like, okay, what do we got here? And once you see Stacks go like this, not explaining himself, and he says, do you know why I brought you out here? And when the Crucifino says, it's all shit. He knows what's about to happen. He got his ass whooped, and he's left in the desert to die. And then we see Rizzo with the Don, wondering what's going on. And Rizzo's trying, Ashley's trying, I think her name's Ashley, that's the name he used, trying to convince her it's over. Stacks is done. He's changed. We notice he changed. He's changed for a while ago. And you know our rule. We don't like snitches and we don't like betrayers. And you're getting your stuff together. Do not go home. I got 2 people that's going to take you to a safe house. So that means Tony D understands that when it comes to Stacks, even though he's turned on him, he's still doing things the way that his type of business acts. And he's trying to protect her. He gives her a big hug, and then they just cut away. Let's make this very clear. This is the strongest story that NXT has. There is no story stronger than it. Even though Ubafemi, and I'm going to talk about what happened with Joe Henry, not forgetting it, but this is the strongest story they have. They've invested a lot in the D'Angelo family when it came to Legado del Fantasma, Deep State, Dark State. When it came to the culling, when it came to Ubafemi dealing with Tony D directly, they have put a lot of investment into the D'Angelo family. And now it's reached the point where now they have to see the division in the family and see who's going to be on top. That's the way it looks. And I'm really interested in seeing how far they're going to go with this, because I like the D'Angelo family. I know not everyone liked Tony D and the story that he had with Stacks, and particularly when particularly when you saw that he got thrown in prison and Stacks had to trick them into getting him out and basically screwing him over, that stuff like that. But now it's reached a point that the story is strong enough. Now with the breakup between Stacks and Tony, we're going to have a real feud between the two where Tony's already over. But now this is about trying to get Stacks over to become something on his own. Because after this feud is over, Stacks is going to be left on his own. It is going to happen. I don't see them having him go to the main roster. He's not ready yet. But Tony, he's developed enough. He could go. And you could have Crucifino and Rizzo go with him while Stacks stays by himself. That could happen. But that's just me. Final thing before the final match. Ubafemi, Joe Henry, and Tricky. Let's make this very clear. Seeing that Devon Evans was put over by Ubafemi was good. Saying that I called you immature, that you're a child, you're nothing. You know what? You gave me more than I expected. You're not ready yet, but I expect you to be a champion in time because you got something. And Trick, I don't like him. I can't stand him. He is one hell of a guy, but he just wasn't as good as me. And that's when Trick comes out, and he did not like being told, no, dog, you do not do that. You do not do this. I am the man here. Everything revolves around me. Nothing. Why anybody want you? And that is when Joe's music hits. He comes out, and he goes into the ring, and he tells a little bit of Trick Williams, what the hell happened to you? Now become nothing but a crying, entitled bitch. And I know it wasn't those exact words. It's not meant to be. It's not going to be in the exact words. But it's good enough that you now know that Trick has been told off by Joe Henry. And then Joe Henry turns to Ubafemi because he says clearly, there's going to be a show that's happening soon named Rebellion where I'm going to be there. And I have some business with Ubafemi. So Ubafemi is possibly going to be the one they want for Joe to face at Rebellion in the next, today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got 5 days. 5 days for the 27th. So this is going to be very interesting to see how they're going to set this up on the last Impact before Rebellion. And seeing Trick get his ass whooped and then fall out of the ring and then get so pissed off that he just causes havoc in the back and then he's sent home. I'm not surprised they're doing that. But here's the thing I got to say to you. How long do you think it's going to be before Trick goes to the main roster? Because right now, we still got Melo on SmackDown. He's with Miz. I do believe he's on SmackDown with Miz. But the question is, will it be at the end of the year or will it be next year that they're going to actually bring up Trick to work on the main roster to see if it's going to work? Because I think honestly, I'm hoping to do it in the middle of the year in the SummerSlam because I don't think he should go now. But you never know when it comes to the main roster. They'll start pulling you up and then not have any plans for you. Yeah, that could happen. And they may wait almost an entire half a year before they do anything when they pull you up, put you out there for a few weeks, and then you disappear until they do something with you. And it'll suck to see that they're still doing that, but that's something that could happen. All right. Final match. Roxanne Perez versus Stephanie Vakir for the NXT Championship. Now, here's the thing. I do believe was it Alex or was it JD that said that I think it's JD. He said that she's on the main roster now. Now, that's a possibility she is. If she is on the main roster, I'm not surprised. It was time for her to be called up. The Prodigy is finished on NXT. There's nothing more she can do except win a third championship, which, what will it really do for the main roster? And since they care more about pushing Stephanie Vakir and pretty much, let me give it to you like this. Was the match bad? No. Hearing Stephanie dislocated a thumb, ooh, that had to hurt. But with that match being good, and now she's doing double work, Stephanie, with a hurt thumb and working last week and working the weekend, then Monday, and here, girls putting in the work. So I'm not saying, and I want to make this clear, when you heard me before, and I know people heard me, I am not against Stephanie Vakir or Julia. I'm not. I don't hate their ring work. I don't think they're bad talent, but I am not believing them. Why? Because from the moment they got into the company, they did not give them any characters. They just wanted them to work, just wanted them to wrestle. And like I said many, many times, this is not about how much great work they did in whatever company before. It's about what they do in this company and how they present them. And to be honest, they haven't presented them other than just doing matches and still having a rivalry between each other. That's it. You don't know who Stephanie is. You don't know who Julia is. Just being told, this is what Julia did, and I'm coming for my damn title, and I have a feud with you is not enough. Because they need more for these women. This is how AEW books. You're booking a woman from Chile, and you're booking a woman from Japan, just like AEW books. The only thing is, you're giving them more time, and you let them work with some people who do have character, like a Jordan Grace. Like a Roxanne Perez, who has been very well developed over 2 to 2.5, near 3 years already. She's worked very hard to get where she is. No, 2.5 years, I think. But in the end, yes, she won, and then Julia comes out. Seemingly now she wants another shot at it. Then you got Jordan Grace, who's up in the stands, which I can understand with Jordan Grace. She didn't lose. But the thing is that, what else do we have with these women? Do you know anything other than that video pack they showed about her giving a title to her dad? That's it. What type of character we got with her? Don't know. What type of character we got with Julia? I don't know. I know more about Jordan Grace, not just because of TNA. It's just how they've been developing in the company now. Because we knew what Jordan Grace was when we saw in Royal Rumble. We knew her again when she went up against Roxanne Perez. She presented herself, let people know what type of attitude she had, what type of character she had. Then we seen her again, dealing with Julia, dealing with Stephanie. We see more about Jordan Grace and know more about Jordan Grace. Then we know about Stephanie or Julia. And this isn't about having a problem with a language gap. No. The only thing you have to do is just give them someone that can talk for them. That's all you got to do. Or just make sure that they have some type of character with somebody else who can talk. Their enemy, even if the enemy or their person they're feuding with could talk better than them, at least they'll be able to carry the story. Nothing. I feel nothing for Stephanie, and I feel nothing for Julia. Not because I don't want to, but because there's no character. And they need characters. These women deserve character. If they win AEW, they get no character. Nothing. Only thing they have are wrestling matches. But this is just me. Peace.